Hi, it's Anna Maria and I want to talk about leaky gut or gut dysbiosis. It's something that's very common and I see it frequently in my clinic. And I want to just share with you what leaky gut is and also give you some tools as to what you can do if you're recognizing these symptoms. Leaky gut is, as it sounds, the gut wall which is leaking. So when we're drinking or eating food, the food particles will seep through the gut wall at stages it's not meant to seep through the gut wall. This will have very irritating and an inflammatory effect on the gut, as well as on the immune system. The classical signs people complain about are bloating. And both men and women will complain that they look like they're 3 months pregnant by the time it's 4 or 5 p.m. Very common. The bloating usually happens below the belly button. They'll also say that they get flatulence after lunch and towards the evening. Very classic too. And the bowel will also change, so whether it becomes a little bit more constipated or looser depends on the individual. But those three signs are very classic, so bloating, flatulence, and changes to the bowel motions. It depends on the stage of leaky gut and how severe it is as to whether these symptoms happen on a daily basis, whether they happen only in the afternoon or all throughout the day. Other people will just have it every now and then during the week. These symptoms are essentially the body telling you that something is not quite right and it wants you to pay attention to it. And that's why I want to talk about it today. In my clinic, I see leaky gut all the time, and I find that it's as frequent as it is, it's also one of those things that are quite simple to deal with. The very important element here is to look at the diet and make some changes, because usually food and certain drinks will irritate and make leaky gut worse. So making some diet changes is vital, and I find that leaky gut responds beautifully to herbal medicine and herbal tonics. Other things such as probiotics and other nutrients may be required, but it really depends on the individual and what's going on. But I want to give you some of my favorite things that you could do at home if you're recognizing these symptoms for yourself. First of all, I'd say look at your diet and pay attention to how your body is responding when you're eating. Are there certain foods that are definitely triggering the bloating for you? The most classic things are gluten. So your pastas and your bread, as well as dairy, is classic things that irritate the gut. So removing them, or reducing them at least, is a good way to sort of assess whether they're something that's irritating your gut. Coffee, which we all seem to love, and some may have more coffee than others, but coffee is definitely a very inflammatory thing to have and will aggravate those symptoms, and will also cause leaky gut to get worse. Alcohol is another thing that classically irritate the gut, and I would really suggest that for just a couple of weeks to remove those things that I just mentioned to see how your body responds. There are certain things you can include into your diet to help the symptoms get better and for the leaky gut to get better. Those things are fermented foods, so getting good flora in, or even trying an over-the-counter dairy-free probiotic is a good place to start. It's a very mild form of probiotic, but it's certainly a place to start. Fermented vegetables is something else you can do. Having broth and bone broth on a daily basis or at least a weekly basis is ideal. Broth is very soothing and nurturing for the gut wall and will help restore the gut wall, the mucosal integrity. So whether you use it as a base for your stews or for soups, or whether you have it as a warm cuppa throughout the day, are really up to you and how much you like broth or not, but I would encourage you to have it on a daily or weekly basis. Something else that I love is Great Lakes gelatin, which is another great healer for the gut, and it comes in a powder form. You could add it to smoothies, you can add it to your food, or you could add it just simply to a glass of water. Great to have daily as well to help heal the gut wall. Lifestyle is something we can't avoid either here in this case. If we eat our food very fast and in a very stressed state, we're not digesting and absorbing the food as well, and it will irritate the gut wall. So see if you can give yourself an extra couple of minutes, maybe 5 minutes, to digest your food. Eat it a little bit slower. Definitely sit down while you're eating and think about what you're eating. It all helps your body digest and absorb the food a lot better. The short-term effects are just essentially irritating. You get bloating, you get flatulence. It's not really that charming. But the long-term effects is what really worries me, because we can see that the immune system start to react, and we can get things like chronic skin conditions. Psoriasis and eczema are typical signs. But we also start to get allergies and intolerances to food. And this can actually be prevented if we start to address the gut health. The body responds very well to changes to the diet. It responds really well to herbal medicine and other nutrients that you can do. So I really encourage you to check in and see if this is something that's happening for you. If you're recognizing these symptoms, take a couple of steps and see what you can do at home to help improve them. And I'm more than happy to answer some of your questions. But definitely, I hope that this video has encouraged you to pay attention to your gut, see what it's telling you, because if something's not quite right, it's worth dealing with. Thanks for watching.